wonders of the deep blue sea. Hello and welcome back to Tim's Deep Blue Sea with me, Victoria. So in today's video, as you've just heard, I'm going to be talking about wonders of the deep. This is a particularly favourite topic of mine and I'm so excited to share it with you all. So the deep is an absolutely fascinating place with some amazing creatures. If you know about any creatures from the deep and have a particular favourite, let me know down in the comments. I would love to hear from you what your favourite deep creature is. A few of my favourites will be coming up later in the video. So if you haven't already, please hit like and leave a comment down below. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel, and I really appreciate all of your support. Thank you very much for clicking on my video. I hope you enjoy. I have my tea in the deep blue sea. Let's dive in. Cheers. So what is the deep sea? What do I mean when I talk about the deep ocean? So the deep ocean is typically defined as the zone in which light begins to dwindle, typically around 200 meters. This is the beginning of the mesopelagic zone, also known as the twilight zone, which ranges from 200 meters to 1,000 meters in depth. Then after this you have the midnight zone, also known as the bathypelagic zone, which this ranges from 1,000 meters down to 4,000 meters. This is where bioluminescence is a really common form of communication. And I'm really sad that I'm not bioluminescent, I just want to be a fish. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so after that you have the abyssal zone, or the abyssal pelagic zone, which ranges from 4,000 meters down to 6,000 meters. After this you have the trenches, or the hadal zone, also known as the hadal pelagic zone, which is from 6,000 meters down to 11,000 meters. So all of these zones are what I'm talking about when I talk about the deep ocean, from the beginning of where light starts to dwindle to where there is no light at all. So the zone in which there is no light at all is called the aphotic zone. So that is what I mean when I talk about the deep ocean. So the deepest point in the ocean is the Challenger Deep, located in the Mariana Trench. This is approximately 10,935 meters deep, or 143,504 avocados deep. The conditions there are really hard to face. There is intense pressure, there is extreme cold, and there is darkness, so it's really difficult to get people down there. So only a handful of people have ever actually been down there, and I'm going to tell you about two of them now. So first of all, in 1960 on the Bathyscaphe Trieste, you had Jacques Piccard and Don Walsh. They went down on Trieste, and they went down to the Challenger Deep. They were the first people to descend there. And then in 2012, filmmaker James Cameron actually went down in his deep submersible vehicle. He went down by himself. It was a one-man expedition. He went down to the Challenger Deep in his Deep Sea Challenger, which is the name of his vehicle. So a few other people have been down. There have been various expeditions since, but these are just two I thought I would mention. Quick fun fact for you: Jean-Luc Picard in Star Trek Next Generation is actually named after Jacques Piccard, because he was a great explorer of the ocean, and Jean-Luc Picard is a great explorer of space. The deep sea isn't just open flat land. It is a varying landscape full of a number of different features. You have trenches, underwater mountain ranges, brine pools, deep sea coral reefs, and hydrothermal vents. So there is lots to go on down there. It's not just one big plain landscape. So we know very little about the deep sea. In fact, we know more about the surface of Mars than we do our own oceans. However, one thing we do know is that life possibly began around a hydrothermal vent. And I will cover what hydrothermal vents are and all about these in another video. So yeah, we know very little about the ocean. So there's possibly hundreds or even thousands or millions of species that we haven't yet discovered. just waiting to be discovered. So it's very exciting, and I'm absolutely in love with the deep sea. It's surrounded in mystery, and the animals there are just so fascinating. So I've picked 4 animals that are from the deep sea that I'm going to tell you about today. The first animal I'm going to tell you about is the banded piglet squid, which is just so cute. They are absolutely adorable. So they live in the mesopelagic zone. So they have an enlarged siphon, which looks a little bit like a snout, which is where they get their name from, the piglet squid. So they have 10 appendages, 8 of which are arms, 2 of which are tentacles, which are often seen on top of their head in a little tuft, which just makes them look even cuter. So they kind of look a little bit like an avocado or an inflated balloon. And they're just so freaking cute. Next animal I'm going to talk about is the anglerfish. Of course, I couldn't talk about the deep sea without talking about the infamous anglerfish. So, as you may know, anglerfish are named after a specific way they have of catching their prey. They have a bioluminescent lure on their head, so the prey is attracted to it, goes to bite it, and before they know it, they have been eaten by the anglerfish. They also have a very interesting way of mating. So the male is much smaller than the female, which is quite common in ocean life. And he bites onto the female and he stays there, he uses her nutrients, and he is just there living as a parasite until he is needed. The next animal I'm going to talk about is the blunt-nosed 6-gill shark, which, if anyone knows me, knows how much I am absolutely obsessed with sharks. So shark, of course, had to be included in the video. So, like their name suggests, they have 6 gills, which is very different from modern sharks who only have 5. So they have more similar characteristics with prehistoric sharks than they do with modern sharks. So they spend a lot of their time on the sea floor, and then at night, when the light is darker above, they do a vertical migration up to feed. So last but not least is the flapjack octopus. They also spend a lot of time on the sea floor. They have a flabby gelatinous body, and they only grow to about 20 centimetres, so they are quite a small species of octopus. They have 2 fins on their head that look like little ears. So they can use these to move around. They can also use their arms, or they can use jet propulsion through their water funnel, or a combination of all 3. I have an interesting fact for you about flapjack octopuses. Pearl in Finding Nemo is actually a flapjack octopus, so the more you know. So they are my animals from the deep, and that was my exploration with you through the deep. I hope you've enjoyed the video and learned something new. If you have enjoyed the video, please let me know down below. I would love to hear from you, and remember to hit that thumbs up. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. I really appreciate all your support. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Victoria, and this has been Tea and the Deep Blue Sea. Cheers.